So if you have been a Laker cynic or critic, if you have questioned their ability to win a championship, I have definitely fallen into that class for most of the last 3 to 4 months. Last night was a perfect representation of how one-dimensional they can be. It's bad news against Denver. AD, offensively, disappears. LeBron missed his threes, but, I mean, he gave you 22, 10, and 9, and that's kind of what you're getting on his good nights. Their NFL comp is the Tennessee Titans. You say they're boring, but, I mean, the Titans and the Lakers are physical. It's an old-school offense, very driven around one guy. You get a lead, you play ahead, you play downhill, and you hold on to the end. Not overly dynamic. There is a formula to the way the Lakers can win. And last night was a perfect formula to win. It was low scoring. You had the lead for most of the game, so the Denver crowd wasn't as frenzied and crazy. It was low scoring. It was perfect for you. Your role players, Rui was fantastic. Austin Reeves was good. And you still couldn't win. So you couldn't win a shootout. And you couldn't win a low-scoring game when your role players on the road played really exceptional. Can you win 4 or 5 now? And, you know, I'm looking at this thing. The reality of what they've become, and this is where the Lakers, to me, get really interesting. Because, as we've talked about before, the thing about Jason Tatum, it's not that he's not great and can't be great, but you're always wondering, will he be great tonight? If you go back to the bubble championship team and that AD, in the 21 games in the bubble, 17 times he was 20 points or more and often way more. This current Anthony Davis, and this is who he is now. We have to own this, right? Laker fans have to own this. Who he is now. He had 3 games under 20 against Memphis. And they didn't have Steven Adams, Brandon Clark. They didn't have their bigs. They were small Memphis. This is who they are. So if indeed this is who the Lakers, what you're watching, it's the Titans with Ryan Tannehill. There's a way to play. Play with a lead. Can't trail. But what's concerning is last night's game was really built for them. Jokic, again, they're playing him huge minutes, so he runs out of gas in the fourth. He gets to the free throw line. He becomes a facilitator, still vital to the offense, but he's not scoring in the fourth. And your role players played well, and you're still losing. So you've lost 2 different ways, shootout and a wrestling match. Denver is clearly bigger. Okay, they are younger. They are more athletic. They are top to bottom. And what they really are, and this is where the discussion comes in, they're just much more consistent. They're a much more consistent team. Even in Jokic's 2 games where you say he's not scoring much in the fourth, that's okay. He's great both nights for 3 quarters. Then he becomes a facilitator and lets Jamal Murray grab the baton. So what the Lakers are, you have to ask yourself this going forward. When I suggest buy low, sell high, what do you do? Because this appears to be what they are. I think they're going to keep Austin Reeves. On the road, he's not going to give you great nights consistently. I think they're going to run back AD. Well, he's not going to get younger next year. I think they're going to bring back LeBron on most nights in the playoffs now. You get 22, not 32. And you can watch him now. It's kind of a lazy man's offense, right? When you get older, you shoot threes. So if you miss, easier to get back on defense. Don't have to race down the floor. LeBron could get to the basket every time he wants, and he knows it. But he's also strategically saving his energy. That's why when I watch the threes, it's like a bad gambler. You keep gambling and you know it's not working. It's like this strategy isn't working. The threes aren't working. He's doing it to conserve sort of energy, so it's compounding. He's tired, and then because he's tired, he's missing the threes. Like, it's not working. So they've lost a shootout in a track meet with Denver. They've lost a wrestling match with Denver. How are they going to win 4 of the next 5 against Denver? It is hard to envision. Lakers lose, down 0-2. Exhausted, they roll back to Los Angeles. Glimmer of hope for the Lakers. Number 1, they come home. They've been great at home in the playoffs. They're going to win some games in the playoffs at home here against Denver. And the second thing is Denver's not terribly deep. So Jokic runs out of gas late. They still got to keep him on the floor. They got to keep him on the floor. They don't have a deep bench. And he's an overwhelming part of their offense. First 3 quarters scoring, last quarter facilitating. He's great at both. It's a glimmer of hope. Series is not over, but they've got to win 4 of 5. We've been watching the Tennessee Titans for years. There's a way to play. It's with a lead and hold on and run the ball and eat the clock. When they lose those games, then where do you go? Right? This is not a team that's going to race back from 17 down. This is a team whose best player is good offensively every other game. So that creates the dilemma. If the Lakers get bounced here in 5 games, do you just run it back or get a new number one? It's something this morning you have to think about. I don't know what to think of this. Word out of Philadelphia, Doc Rivers and his guys believe that James Harden was the driving force to get rid of Doc Rivers. And the GM, Daryl Morey, apparently listened. That's the story, Yahoo Sports. You can go ahead and blame Doc Rivers. He struggled in Game 7s. I'm not denying that. But the Celtics are proving that you can be at a huge head coaching deficit and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Doc Rivers is better than Joe Mazzulla. The previous Sixers coach, Brett Brown, also dealt with this. He got blamed for Ben Simmons' indifference, Joel Embiid's inconsistencies. Brett Brown was more than competent. Doc Rivers is more than competent. In the NFL, the coach gets rid of the player if it's a struggle. Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson. That's okay. That happens. In the NBA, the player often has more power and gets rid of the coach. I'm fine with that. Magic Johnson did that. LeBron's done that. Michael Jordan may have done that. I'm okay with that, right? Different cultures. But James Harden, flaky now, moody now, expensive now, inconsistent now. I've said he's a role player that's fashionable. James Harden's running coaches out? I mean, Philadelphia, it's really interesting. The Celtics have a culture. The Heat have a culture. The Warriors, they got a culture. The Sixers have a slogan. Trust the process. Hard to, 7, 8, 9 years in. Can't get past the second round. I just watched the MVP and Harden put up back-to-back humiliating performances and get rolled in both. 7 years for the Celtics. I'm getting that culture, and I'm getting 5 trips to the ECF. I'm okay with it. I want a title if I'm a Celtic fan, but I'm getting consistency, and I'm getting culture, and that's with some coaching changes. Even now, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and Joe Mazzulla, it appears, is a bit over his skis and overwhelmed by Eric Spoelstra. But they can even the series and probably do tonight. What am I getting for this? For a franchise that has been very much about the player. I was told that Embiid was the future. Ben Simmons is the future. And now Harden getting the coach fired, according to a story. Maybe we should just watch them and they're telling us what they are. The peak of the Sixers is one of their stars winning the MVP. The Heat, the Warriors, the Celtics have a culture. Sixers have a slogan. To me, that's the difference. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.